Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. We are coming back with more FAQs. I am so glad you're able to send me even more questions from our last part one. If you haven't had the opportunity, click below and take a watch, and let's go ahead and get to it. Should I be concerned about socialization? Probably the #1 misconception to homeschooling. I could just answer this very briefly. No, socialization is not a concern at all. We talked about the time it takes to homeschool. With all of the other hours in the day, get out with your children, get outside, get to the park. It's often forgotten about that socialization has actually very little to do with being surrounded by 25 peers, all the same age, sitting at a desk, as you're told, there's no talking, it's not the time to talk. The classroom environment is not the ideal socialization setting. And in fact, more and more we're seeing negative outcomes from poor socialization aspects happening at school. What happens if your child is seeing behavior models that is negative? Then what? So when it comes to socialization, remember that the goal is for our children to learn behaviors and social nuances and how society works through growing relationships with others. The nice thing about homeschooling, bring in friends and grandparents and members of the community as mentors who are strong in one area that can work one-on-one or in a group setting with your children. Get your kids signed up for a class or a hands-on activity that excites them. Join a co-op, get involved in church and youth group, activities, sports. All of these are options for homeschoolers. So I just always feel like that question, are you worried about homeschooling? That your children will miss out on socialization? It really should be no different than asking any parent, are you worried about socialization for your child? Yes, we all have it on our mind, but homeschooling or not homeschooling, we have the opportunity to create opportunities for our children to learn these behaviors and build life-lasting relationships. Do you participate in a co-op? Good question, and I just talked about the positive impact of co-ops with socialization, but no, we do not currently. A co-op is a group of homeschool families that get together. They can run units and lessons together. They can connect just on a social aspect with their children, and it's just a way to build community around homeschooling where you live. With that said, for us, we're in a season where it just doesn't work. I need a lot more flexibility currently in our day with the little guy and the girls in kind of spanning this 10-year range currently. So co-ops, definitely a good thing. It doesn't work for us right now, but hopefully in the future. How do you balance multiple kids in multiple grade levels? This is a really good question. When you think about it and before you start homeschooling, I completely understand how heavy it can feel and how overwhelming it can feel. But so much of the way we structure our day, everyone is included. So we like to do as much family style learning as possible. Family style learning is we all come together at a communal table and we're working parallel. Yes, my girls are 2 years apart, and then there's the big age gap with Cruz. It doesn't mean we're all working on the same lesson, but parallel learning happens when we're all working on math at the same time, and then I'm at the table able to direct one-on-one time as it's needed. We try to schedule as much of our day in that style, and then also look for unit studies and religion and devotions and art and all of these areas of learning that we can fully do together and work on as a family. For the independent learning time, where maybe my 7th grader needs my direct attention for a extended period of time, I never look to keep the other two busy. I feel like the more we think that keeping our children busy and entertained through the day will be helpful, the more actually stress it puts on us to come up with fillers, and unfortunately it turns into busy work. I will say, from early on, the more that you can teach boundaries and set expectations, the more that your kids will become autonomous in their learning and also understand how to fill that time when you're working with a sibling. So for example, something at the start of each year, I show my kids where our independent work box is. In the independent work box are everything from handicrafts to mini history lessons that they can pull out at any time and do on their own. They also know my expectations. If I'm working with you one-on-one, what can you have set up and ready to go? If mom's working with a sibling one-on-one and I have a question, what should I do? What steps do I go through to be able to solve that problem and or set it aside to wait until she's available? So when it comes to working multiple kids in multiple grade levels, set a lot of boundaries and expectations early, set them up for autonomous and independent learning as much as possible. Create time of shared experiences and family style learning. And remember, it's not your job to keep everyone busy through the day. In those periods that your kiddos have some time on their own, watch them completely surprise you and be incredibly creative in what they make and do and discover. What is your number one advice to new homeschool parents? Oh gosh, my number one advice, that's so specific. Okay, find your community. I have so many other little comments I want to add, like give yourself grace and believe that you can do this, but find your community and they will remind you of all of those things on your hardest days. Don't isolate yourself. Don't ever feel alone. You have a community of moms behind you that want you to succeed, that can't wait to see your children flourish, and that are just here with you, mind, body, and soul. Okay, so following our first FAQ video, I hear you loud and clear. You've got those personal questions. Let's just get through these in the speed round. Okay, what's your ethnicity? I am Korean. Do you miss being a principal? No. Sorry. What state are you in? Oregon. Are your girls actually really good friends? Yes, they are. How old are you? God, it shouldn't take me time. 37. Do you use technology in your homeschool? Yes. Do you ever eat fast food? Absolutely. Do you want to have more children? Well, thank you so much for being here today. I hope you found some answers in the FAQs from today. If you still have some burning questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll work to get back to those as well. And I'll see you next time.